Good morning or good evening, tragedies, wherever you are. I once revealed the power of the unrestricted machine that only true knowledge could command. Today, I go deeper, summons, choices, and hidden paths, all executed with perfect intent. This is pure branded, okay? This is a flawless engine with no hand traps, no board breakers, but of course, this does not include the super poly. So, many of you will ask if it's strong, if it's playable, and the answer is no, it's not. But it's not for the weak. And I'm the branded Eternal. I play with only branded steel because I like to shape my victory the way I want. So I bring you today my own branded Dogmatika gameplay, not just to show it, but to reveal the reasoning behind each move, okay? Without further delay, let us descend into the eternal branded light. And the first duel is against Ryzeal. And as you can see here that the hand is full of gas. It's pure. And pure means more lines, more extension, more plays. Okay? So this is against Ryzeal. And Ryzeal is annoying, okay? But this hand is worth the try. Okay? Let's speed this up. Just going to search double, star, and plugin, star, set the trap that could pop multiple cards. Plugin, reborn, next. And then to Dugaris, draw 2, discard 1. Node, reborn from grave, detonator, triple pop, quip, also drawing for another potential hand trap, set for pass. So he basically had triple pop, he has a monster negate on resolution, he has did he reset the plugin? No, but he has the other trap that could pop multiple cards on the field face up. Also a bunch of nasty hand traps like Impermanence, Veiler, Ash, or whatever he drew into, you know, because he drew a lot. So this hand is worth trying. And with such a spicy hand, you would like to begin with a Shard Dragon to see your top deck, okay? You want to top deck into Super Poly, but there is no Super Poly. So I thought that maybe if summoning the Ecclesia early would just make him pop it when I activate another card to then waste one of the materials, to then I use Ecclesia to dodge the pop and summon a Golden Sorcerer or Albaz from deck. But I actually summon Ecclesia because I want him to finger the Ecclesia or save the finger for the Ecclesia and not finger the Bestial Rebellion, okay? So I kept the Ecclesia, but you know, he made a choice, finger the Bestial Rebellion. The win is too good. Okay, and the Ecclesia is going to summon Albaz. Who cares? He could pop the Albaz. That what was he thinking of? So that was the right move. Now follow up with an opening, discarding a tragedy, which is one of the best plays to make. You can chain block it, but it doesn't matter because the field spell negates on resolution. Okay. Of course, he negated the tragedy search, but we already access branded fusion. We send the branded fusion for cost as the retribution also, so it's inevitable. Albor gets negated. That's normal so far, okay? Which not supposed to be normal is that this oh, what is this, bro? Solemn Judgment? I mean, this is too much, right? And also you still have like 2 pops and on the detonator and 2 pop on the trap, so I'm thinking that I'm a bit screwed, right? Summon the Ecclesia on defense position, add the Matrix, but Matrix is not that good now because he could simply pop it on activation, so you don't search. So I just keep the Matrix for another turn. Also summoning a Fallen Albaz with no activation because this Albion is going to set a branded in red for you, okay? But branded in red with no access for Albaz is trash, okay? But By ensuring that you have Albaz on field, you grab the Tragedy or the Quem as a target for the Branded Red, then you perform a fusion summon. If he detonator pops your fallen Albaz, then you simply grab the Albaz with the Branded Red instead. Okay? So summon the Albaz, end phase, and this is not correct. It's not correct to use the Ecclesia or the Cartesia trigger before your Albion. You want to use Albion first, so if he has a Bestial, it's too late to finger the Albion. We already activated Albion, thus the Albion is going through. But if you activate Cartesia or Ecclesia first, you ensure that he could respond with a Bestial on your Albion before the Albion even triggers. Okay, but this is against Ryzeal. You activate Albion first, you set your Branded Red, then you activate Ecclesia to add back, then he detonator pops. So that's why you would want to activate to add the Ecclesia first this time. Then you Albion, okay, into a Branded Red. This targets face up, so the Branded Red is immune, okay? But we are really in a bad spot, okay? Because Branded Red is our only play. I could Branded Red into a, what is it called? Lebellion, discard the Ecclesia, make Emergy, but the freaking field spell would negate. So I don't want to reveal my only play. It's my only play, and the best play out of this is not a Lebellion. It's unfortunately a Sanctifier Dragon, and Sanctifier Dragon couldn't do much, so I prefer to just leave this Branded Red as a form of threat that is on his chest that he has to get rid of, something to scare him, you know? Like, if I use this Branded Red right now, I will be completely open for him to calculate and just think how to end the game by surpassing the Postmaster off of the red. But keep the Branded Red until you see what he's up to, then you decide, okay? Double the Xyz, Banshee, that's just annoying, into a Baguska on attack position, then he attack, okay? I just leave him to attack, that's not enough for game, but now he has game. He has the rank 5 Xyz that is a reduce. That's a 500 reduce, plus if it destroys a monster by battle, it gets to make a second attack. Also, during the battle phase, all the opponent's monsters are negated. You know, it doesn't say the battle phase or the damage at the start of the battle phase. At the start of the battle phase, you could negate all the effects of all attack position monster your opponent controls. Okay, so this is game, but now we could at least stop one of these attacks, okay, into a Sanctifier Dragon. Very good. Why the Sanctifier is in attack position? This is a 500 reduce. I know, but I just want to show off and play on the line, you know. So I just made it in attack position, you know. Use the Sanctifier effect. It's going to be negated, but at least you're going to waste one of their materials. Use the Aliber and the so basically he negated the Aliber summon, okay, which is why I did summon Aliber. If you allow me to summon Aliber into my field, I'm going to search for next turn, and I have 2 bodies to block both of your attacks. But now, since you negated Aliber, you're going to destroy that Sanctifier, but then Aliber returns in another form, not as a form of search, but as a form of Lord, a servant, faithful servant that serves his king to make him survive and ensure another turn for the grinding. Okay, so Aliber negate, special summon. Also, this is helpful to get a fusion to touch your grave. So if you have a Branded in High Spirits or a Cartesia or Ecclesia, you get to add back. So just make sure that you have at least 1 fusion to touch your grave each turn. Okay, we top deck into a Super Poly, and I felt like you only have one Ryzeal Xyz, so you either choose to pop or the field spell negate. One of them. And I had Tragedy in the graveyard to reset the Branded Fusion, and Branded Fusion is better than Matrix. Matrix is Albazoa, send Lulu summons during the end phase. It's good, but I want play this. I want to end this, okay? So I sacrifice my Matrix, pop the Matrix. Now the field spell cannot negate the Tragedy, okay? Negate, Tragedy, set the Branded Fusion into Albion the Branded Dragon, activate, Fusion Summon, Mirror Jade, Golden Sword Soul, Reborn the Quam. Make sure also to use the first effect of Quam of sending the target that you want, then you banish, reborn the target that you want, okay? Just sending a Branded Sword in here, banish the Detonator, also reborn Sanctifier Dragon in attack position, get the Golden Sword Soul, and let's just battle. Mirror Jade, activate, wipe all during the end phase, Albion, negate. Yeah, that's it. Let's hop into another. And this duel also is against Ryzeal with a similar hand to the duel before. Spicy hand, pure branded, but this time against Fuwalos. And how good is branded under Fuwalos? And also how good is this branded variant under Fuwalos? So I decided to restrict myself in order to dodge a draw by chaining the opening to the Fuwalos. We summon an Aliber, Branded Fusion, give you one draw, and plus the other setup. I'm good, you're good, okay? But if you choose to Ash the opening in hope that I will end my turn, or continue to play under the Fuwalos and give you more draw, then this is a wrong decision, because the branded opening you have to summon in order to be locked out of the extra deck for non-fusions, okay? So if you summon, then you're fusion restricted, but if you don't summon, you still are not fusion restricted. Thus, chaining the opening to the Fuwalos was necessary. You either summon Aliber and go Branded Fusion, or you dodge a draw, okay? Choose to Ash it, because we're going to dodge a draw. We're not going to summon this be a monster, and he's telling me now you have to play forcefully against Fuwalos. And I say, who care about Fuwalos? I'm just going to do my thing. Whether it's under Fuwalos or not, nothing is going to change. We're just going to optimize our plays a little bit to give him less draws, okay? What did I do here? We search for a Bestial Magnuma with the Libellion, also sending Albaz, make the Cartesia alive, okay? Cartesia, comport then summon, okay? Now we send the Saronir alongside the Cartesia for a Grand Vignon. Saronir could send a Branded Spell or Trap, which is going to be Retribution. Also, the Grand Vignon is going to send a extra deck monster to the graveyard, which is the Albion. Albion has the first priority. I know that I play against Fuwalos, I'm not going for Albion by fusion summon, thus sending it with Grand Vignon is the best option here. Also the I should say the Saronir send the Retribution, and now we summon our Magnuma, summon, also Libellion, Tribute, come forth. Then I'm going to set the branded Lost, okay? And just simply summon the Ecclesia. We could summon an Albaz from the deck and just access another Albaz potentially, or access Golden Sword Soul. But in this instance, I don't want him to give him another draw just for access the Golden Sword Soul, and at the same time, I really want to go for Anaconda, but Anaconda is 2 draw. 1 draw for Anaconda, the other draw for the Fusion Summon. It doesn't work. 2 draws is a lot. So instead, I'm going to perform another extra deck summon for 1 draw and 1 additional disruption. Okay. The Anaconda, it's 1 disruption for 2 draws, but for you playing Lulu, it's 1 disruption for 1 draw. Totally fair. We add the branded opening to be used on his turn to access the Quem. And also, as I told you, we have Lulu. Additional draw for additional disruption, set up the branding red, get the Ecclesia, also the Cartesia, and finally the Magnuma, adding a Shrouded Dragon. That's weird. Why wouldn't you add a Baldric or a Drusworm to disrupt your opponent? Well, with a branding red, if you have a target for it in your graveyard like in Albaz, and we made sure to keep the Bestial Wheel on field, that's exactly the materials of the Light and Darkness Dragonlord. So we have 1 way of summoning Dragonlord, okay? That's the first way. Second way is going to be through the opening, summoning a Quem, discard the Cartesia, and summon the Cartesia later to fuse with the same fusion material. So if the red gets fingered or bestialed, we have another way of summoning Light and Darkness Dragon, okay? And we also have 2 ways to summon Quem. We have the Gragwignol, we have the opening, so we have 2 ways to summon the Light and Darkness Dragon, and we have 2 ways to summon Quem. If one of them failed, we're switching to plan P, okay? So we're totally secured. He's starting with hand with a 6-card hand, just like if he didn't hand trap us and we didn't play with Cautious under the Fuwalos. Now shotgunning early the branding red, which gets fingered. That's unfortunate, but we don't care. We still have plan B live. But I'm just going to use the correct moment to use the brand opening. Activate, summon, search. Okay, and now he sent from the extra on a high chain link. The Lulu is going to activate to then negate the search. Okay, so maybe negating the loss would have been better, but then you leave Lulu to negate something else. So they are forced to negate Lulu, and Lulu on a hard chain link negate. Before they go into Nixie's summon, we summon a Quem by discarding the Cartesia. Discard the Cartesia, make sure that you summon the Cartesia by Quem, or if the Quem eats the field spell negate, which I want desperately, we still have Golden Sword Soul, summon Cartesia. Okay, so we have again not just 2 ways of summoning Light and Darkness Dragon and 2 ways of summoning Quem, we have 2 ways of summoning Cartesia. Okay, and you may be thinking, how will you trigger the Golden Sword Soul if the Ryzeal does not banish? We have Gragwignol. Gragwignol banish itself, summon from the extra or deck, and by the cost of banishing, Golden Sword Soul will trigger eventually. That's the plan. Okay, field spell is here, and now he's exceeds summoning into Edetnir, and now the monster negate of the field spell is live, and I'm summoning the Cartesia, and I want him to negate because I don't want him to negate the Cartesia fusion summon. I want him to negate the Quem attempting to reborn the Cartesia because we have another way to summon the Cartesia. Okay, destroy the Lost, totally fine with that, and negate the Quem attempting to reborn the Cartesia. Very good. Now he's falling into our trap. Special summon by a monster effect, which means Gragwignol summoning a Coritis, which is really good against Ryzeal, and now our Golden Sword Soul is going to shotgun summon the Cartesia, and Cartesia is going to perform our desired Light and Darkness Dragonlord. Okay, and now I'm leaving him with a choice. Do you want to battle phase over Coritis and guarantee me another turn and I will pull you into my grind game, or do you want to try fighting against Light and Darkness Dragon and see how it goes? And apparently he chose to still fight. This negates, he attempts to destroy. We chain the Coritis anyway to reduce their exceeds, and also we have a branded opening to protect the Light and Darkness Dragon. Okay. Also, Light and Darkness Dragon, if popped, you get to reborn a dragon which is a Magnamot, which is good for the grind game. Now, battle phase, useless, trash. Dragonlord is able to negate. He has nothing, mate. Nothing. And he's thinking that Dragonlord, we can get rid of him, and that's not game, of course, but since it's a light and a dark at the same time, we get to just get rid of it by a Bestial Rebellion so easily. And also, using the Serenir, banish the Light and Darkness, return it back to be used later if needed. Hit him with a Droll. I'm just going to showcase him that we don't care about Droll, we don't care about Ash Blossom. I'm just going to make other complete plays without the need for the other branded regular cards, okay? Now to trigger a bunch of effects here, negate the field spell with the Lulu, gain a boost, send the Retribution, also the Quem, reborn the Cartesia. Cartesia is going to fusion summon into our Chaos Star Source. Chaos Star Source is going to pop, okay? And the Brandon White is going to fusion summon. We search, we pop under Droll, and boy, destroy. We still haven't popped either of their monsters. The detonator cannot protect unless it detaches material. We go for Anaconda to clear space, and Despair summon the Albaz to be able to use the Brandon White using 2 bodies on our field, clear more space. Mirror Jade. Also, the Anaconda is now live to make a Rimbram. Rimbram here is going to make a cool play. Verte, target, Rimbram, negates, Mirror Jade, banish. Both bodies are gone. Let's go. This is the way. And about this duel, you actually asked for it and you loved it, and now it returns. Endless Maxx's, relentless hand traps, a grind that seemed eternal, but every piece, every resource recycled perfectly. What looked like 1 of, I actually played it like it's a 3 of. Witness displays and see the intentions that shapes destiny. Enjoy the show. Let's begin. You could send the trap. Which one does reborn? This one, you could banish, send on Centurion card. I banished preemptively the level 8 because I don't want him to reborn it later. So he sent the trap in vain, you know. But in another case, I would rather save the Bestial Serenir as a discard fodder for the Super Poly, but I would just use the Super Poly with another discard fodder of the top deck of ours, okay? And we did top deck into a Tragedy, which is perfect, okay? It's a perfect discard. You gotta activate the Branded Lost first and just wait for him to panic when they see the Branded Lost and make their plays, okay? Special summon, double level 8. I could have Super Poly at this point, but I want to give him less bodies, okay? So just, you know, that he's going for Crimson Dragon. The Auxilla and the Crimson Dragons are 2 dragons. You play Chaos Star Source, so I could have went for Garura fusion summon with the token and the other one, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to give him more bodies, so we just go for a Star Source with the Super Poly. Okay, and at the same time you make sure that they don't have access for Crimson Dragon in the extra for the rest of the turn. They need a Magnamot to recycle it, otherwise they cannot cheat Cosmic Blazer on their or on your turn. Okay, so activate Special Summon, and now we super poly. There's no more Crimson Dragon for you. Okay, pretty good. Okay, Star Source, and you don't pop with the Star Source unless you use your monsters as a material for this. If you use one dragon of yours, you get to pop one. If you use two dragons of yours, you get to pop two. If you use both dragons from the one side of the field, you pop none. Okay. And Branded Lost is going to be further searching, but it wasn't on a chain link 1. Our fusion summon wasn't on chain link 1, thus they're able to respond with an Ash Blossom. And at this moment, when I saw that Ash Blossom on the Branded Lost, I felt like they have a Maxi and they're thinking that I may be going to finger, then play into the Maxi or whatsoever. So maybe they're just testing if I have a finger or not. So they Ash this. Thank God the grass is live. We could actually manage and play against that Maxi with the grass. We are going to mill our deck while making them draw their deck. Which one is stronger? Okay, you all know. Okay, I milled like crazy here. I will visualize the mills real quick. We made Sarony, we could send a brand Spiller Trap like Retribution. We haven't accessed Retribution, but we have Branded White. We have Mercuria, which could be banished. We have Cartesia. We have Shard Dragon, which is an Alba's name, not one but two. We also have Alba's Engrave. Pretty good mills. Also, we have Sword. We have Chaos Space. Going to send a Branded Red. Then I'm going to add the Branded Red to our hand to be used, while the Tragedy, which we didn't activate to search Tragedy, is going to reset the Branded White into our field. And now he maxes, and hell yeah, I'm going for that Maxi. I'm going to play that Maxi, and I love this top deck. This top deck is just crazy, you know, out of nowhere. I have the intention of playing unrestricted. I have the intention of not going for that branded fusion, and the deck just rewards me for not going for branded fusion, because now I have an access for Bestials. Access for Bestials means access for Synchros, okay? With a Quem, of course, okay? We have access for Golden Sword Soul in here, but we could banish the Mercurier to search for our beloved Quem, which we desperately need for the fusion summon. But in this instance, I don't search Quem, because you can see here we have one, we have two copies on the Quem in the graveyard, and if you search another Quem while you have two in the graveyard, you have no Quem left in your deck, and you want to make sure that you at least have one Quem in your deck to summon off of a Grand Wignall if you need. So I'm going to just search for a Golden Sword Soul to be normal summon, and then use the Golden Sword Soul to revive one of the two Quems in the graveyard. This is perfect, this is optimal. Okay, normal summon the Golden Sword Soul. This Bitter is able to negate at least one hand trap. Also, I summon the Mercurier. Attempting to negate, I will attempt to negate and summon that Mercurier, and felt like with this Branded White, the intention was just go Mirror Jade, and you have Mercurier for a monster negate, which is Nibiru, and I'm good. But I felt like I want this duel to be a little bit longer if possible. Like, if he has a Nibiru, that Mercurier is going to stop the Nibiru. Game over, okay? But I feel like he's holding into the Nibiru, okay? Because he used Veiler on the Despair, you know? So I went for a Light and Darkness Dragon, okay? In a hope that he maybe have a way or another to just out the Light and Darkness Dragon, because you could easily chain link the Dragon Lord to make it activate with anything, then you respond the Dragon Lord with the real card, which is Nibiru, so it can be easily dodged. This duel is going to be more longer if he could pull this right, okay? And yeah, he did have a way to just make any effect triggers. He did make the Auxilla. I summoned the Drew Swarm, he activated the Auxilla. I responds with the Light and Darkness Dragon, it's mandatory, and then he responds with the Nibiru, okay? If it was in Mirror Jade instead of the Light and Darkness Dragon, could have negated, but game over, okay? But Nibiru on Light and Dragon, you cannot do much. It feels like the game is the game is not fair. Like, it's drawing a bunch of cards and you get Nibiru eventually, and now you're not able to first turn kill, and every attempt to special summon they're going to draw, you know. But in this duel, I was looking for the show, okay? I was looking to this kind of battle, okay, which seems unfair, okay, at first, which feels it's unfair, but it feels like it's unfair for me at first, but it's really unfair for the opponent, okay? Nibiru, tribute the entire field, and boy, 15,700 Nibiru. Summon the Drew Swarm, also Oliver triggers. I'm going to summon that Oliver. I was in stream with my friends while playing this duel, and I was like, he's telling me, bro, what are you doing? Why all these draws? Just stop it. And he lost it when I'm going to leave win. Also Lancia, I cannot from a fusion summon the Brandon Red. I even could have secured my play by making sure that I could have both Light and Darkness Dragon and a Mirror Jade to make the Mercurial live, you know. Could have done that, but I did it the worst way possible to give him a final chance to whip out the card that will make the duel more grindy, which is Nibiru, you know. This is where my friend lost it on stream, when I could have went for Anaconda using the Drew Swarm and the Oliver. The Drew Swarm will trigger anyway, but I just summoned this Bestial Lobelium for nothing, you know. The Anaconda is my only left play, and I summoned a freaking Bestial Lobelium for nothing, giving an additional draw, and my friend is going, what are you doing? More draws, are you crazy? You're going to lose. I told him I'm just giving him a free draws because those cards are going to look so good, so satisfying when he lose this duel, okay? And he told me this is insane. Then he shut the fuck up afterwards and start watching. Anaconda, still have Brand Fusion in our deck after the huge mills. We get Valor, all sort of hand traps. All of them lost the draws, okay? Feels like we have nothing, right? That's how it feels. Feels trash, right? Add the Ecclesia, add the Cartesia. Further add back the Baldric, also adding Brand High Spirits, and maybe we have just Baldric as a form of disruption. That's how it feels. Maybe just one form of disruption. Now, Premiere, okay? We could use the Branded Regained to reborn this Despair, okay? But this Regained would summon Despair whenever they summon a monster, so you don't want to rush with the reborn Despair. Just reborn the Despair at the perfect moment, okay? Reborn Despair at the perfect moment and you're just fine. Don't just shotgun the Brand Regain to reborn Despair whenever it pops at first, you know? We have other plays to make first, okay? First we wait for them to have a monster, to then banish a card, okay, because we want to trigger all golden sword soul, okay. We banish the Light and Darkness Dragon to recycle it, trigger the golden sword soul to special summon the Ecclesia onto the field, also recycle the Light and Darkness Dragon because I had a plan to summon that Light and Darkness Dragon. Okay, I had a plan to summon that Light and Darkness Dragon. The Primera is a light monster, so we could use the Ecclesia to fusion summon. Then how could you actually access the Light Darkness Dragon? We already used Cortesia, right? They have the Grand Wignall Engrave. We don't have Grand Wignall, so we couldn't actually access Light and Darkness Dragon, but at least we could have made a Mirror Jade off of this, which is good. But we special summon the Ecclesia, and Ecclesia gets fingered. Okay, this finger hurts a lot because it's 2 disruption. Fuse with the Primera, go into Mirror Jade, but now it's fingered. But the upside is now I could use my Branded Regain safely to stop your Trudea. Trudea activates within an open game state. You have to activate within the main phase to equip itself into the back row alongside other Centurion monster from your deck. So okay, so perfect timing for Regain, Reborn, Despair, and you could negate by returning one of their cards. But in this instance, I'm just going to recycle the Banished Retribution and destroy the Trudea, because Trudea, if it doesn't equip herself into the back row, you don't get to equip another Centurion from your deck. So I'm just going to destroy it and recycle the Tragedy. Also, we draw into, recycle the Retribution, and we draw into the Tragedy which we recycled on the previous turn. Okay, we use the Tragedy effect from the graveyard and then recycle it into our deck, and now we draw it. Okay, it's a goated draw because it ensures that at the next turn we get that Tragedy in graveyard, we continue our loop. Use the Tragedy to recycle a spell or trap, then use the Branded Regain to recycle the Tragedy again. Endless loop of recycling your pieces that you are going to feel like your deck is not, falling out of gas. If this duel seems eternal, then your deck is going to perform from the first turn at the last turn, as efficient. Okay, now is going to equip the Trudea anyway, special summon onto the field, level 4, to make the monster that works like a Flame Burge, equip the Bestia Despair into the back row, and I'm just going to Baldrake, Tribute Despair, protect the Despair, and also banish that monster. Okay, it's a dodge and a disruption at the same time. We have regained. We could Reborn Despair whenever we want at the next turn. Okay, so Despair works like a ghost in your deck. Your opponent may not see Despair sometimes, okay, and actually you could make advantage from it. Just leave it in the graveyard and hit your opponent with it at the right moment. Okay, it was clutch after Ecclesia got fingered. Otherwise, if the Despair got fingered at first, they wouldn't have, Ecclesia wouldn't have done much. You would fuse with the Primera, get a Mirror Jade, you have just 2 disruption, but this Despair stopping Trudea from equipping yourself on another body is more beneficial. Also recycling your Retribution is good. Okay, he's going to draw a random card, randomly drawing into Harbor of the Duster, which this hurts. We are counting on that Branded Regain a lot. Okay, but that's fine. I still have Tragedy, and also I have Albaz, so we have a way to get that Tragedy in the graveyard, whether with Cortesia Fusion Summon or with Albaz discard Tragedy. Okay, 2 ways. Legacia, non-target pop. Also, he's going to add the Centurion back to the hand. Let's go. Also draw a card, equip the Primera into the back row, and we saved the sword just right at this moment. Okay, we had so many guys in the graveyard that we don't need to rush everything. Just use the Branded Sword at the start of the battle phase. Use the Branded Sword, get the Golden Sword Soul, protect your Anaconda. We could use the Anaconda at the next turn if it's possible. Otherwise, just keep it as a body, to be used with the Baldrake. send the branded retribution. And what's crazy is this branded retribution, we have one engrave and we have one in our deck. So we have branded retribution for this turn, we have branded retribution for the next turn, and this builder could recycle one of them for the turn after the next turn. You know, you're not running out of cards, you're continually looping every piece, everything. And as I told you, I'm not counting on branded fusion, never, especially with this gas playing into the Ash Blossom, you know, so stupidly. No, we branded in white because we play Golden Sword Soul, we play Pistios, we could trigger a bunch of good effects here with that branded in white. You know, that branded in white is explosive if used correctly with the right pieces. A piece like a Mercurial which gets banished, a piece like a Golden Sword Soul which triggers off of the branded in white banishing, a piece like what is it called, the piece like a brand regain which could also trigger to draw a card and recycle other pieces. Synchro summoning into a Lulu. Okay, I'm going just to banish that Lulu, get Imperm on the Baldric, that's completely fine. Tribute, but no, it's not. It's the Fallen Albaz, discard the Tragedy. Okay, I told you about this play before. The intention was to get that Tragedy in graveyard. Okay, we don't want actual fusion, we don't care about fusion summon. And now, after this play, I'm going to tribute the no, before tribute, no, I rush into explanations. Okay, I'm going to set the branded regain first. Okay, and now use the Cartesia to get Maxx. Okay, I'm going to show the animation of the Cartesia. Yeah, of course, never missed it. Okay, now we tribute Bestial Rebellion for a synchro summon level 12 onto the original Lulu, which is our Lulu. Okay, Lulu versus Lulu. Which one is better? The one within her home, of course. Okay, and now we branded in white. Huge brand in white because Mercurial is going to trigger, Lulu is going to trigger, Regained is going to trigger. You know, the Chain Link order. It doesn't matter with this bunch of triggers because they have a mandatory triggers either way. Okay, so if they have an Ash Blossom, they either have to choose between using the Ash on the branded regain or the Mercurial search, or using the Lulu to negate a face-up card. And of course they will use the Lulu, so you could choose the Chain Link order wherever you want. Okay, but make sure to make Lulu on Chain Link 1, so that the Baboos, the 500 Baboos, when it happens at the last moment. Okay, it happens after your monsters has been settled onto your field. Okay, because we are going to special summon a bunch of monsters. Okay, we want to make sure that Lulu effect of ours happens the last, so the last monsters that we summon, who's the monster, are going to gain that boost. Okay, make it a Chain Link 1. We also Mercurial, Golden Sword Soul, Regained, Search, Special Summon. They are going to attempt to negate. We attempt to negate the negate. Okay, they attempt to negate the trying to negate the negate. Then we dodge that negate, negating that negate. Crazy stuff. Crazy. Okay, Grand Wignol is now here. All of this under Maxx. And we negate the Lulu, but since we already negated the Lulu, so I'm going just to non-target spin the Legacia. Okay, add the kit, also special summon the Quem. Okay, regain, also returning the Mercurial, drawing in Albaz. See, we ended the field with a newly summoned Quem and Grand Wignol, which instantly gained the boost. Okay, see why I did the Lulu on Chain Link 1? That's why. Okay, Quem is going to send a brand spell or trap. Grand Wignol is going to send a extra deck fusion from the extra to the graveyard, and we search the Mercurial See? The tragedy, we have used it more than once. We have used the tragedy twice to recycle our brand spiller traps. We constantly banish the tragedy, recycle it, banish the Mercourier and recycle it. This deck is just with one Mercourier and one tragedy, and we kept on recycling each one of them to be used more than once. I just banished that Mercourier right now, and now I searched it, you know? Flying beast for sure, you know? Very flexible, as I choose to send a fusion from the extra to trigger the Quam to reborn the Rimbrum, which we already dodged the negate by using the Cartesia with, and now I'm just going to show a card, recycle the Lobelium kit, recycle the branded Retribution, and return the Cartesia, get the branded Retribution. Branded Retribution is going to return 2 Albaz fusion from the graveyard into our extra, okay, which is a recycle. Also the retribution could be used at the next turn if we want to, so even if he has some sort of plays that could stop this, he won't be able to survive. Look at this deck, 5 cards in their deck. Look at their extra, 10 cards without access for the what is it called, the Crimson Dragon, so there's no way he could have made it, you know. Also we have Nadir Servant, we still have Albazoa play, but bro, just end this, you know. And that's how it works.